Now, you have the 5 Ds, the 5 Ds of living your dream, both inside and outside of the cage. So what I'm hearing is there's not a button that you turn on and turn off. When you're in the ring, when you're in the cage, those 5 Ds apply. When you're outside of the cage, those same 5 Ds apply. You want to share?
Yes. So we're here at the Character Combine, and the 5 Ds. I didn't read about it. I didn't do any research, but a lot of my life experiences has shaped these 5 Ds. And these 5 Ds are just basically about who you are and what you are and what you want to become. So the first D is desire. Everyone has a desire to be successful. Everyone does. You have a desire within yourself, within your heart. Now, it's what you do with that desire that's going to help you achieve that desire. And that second D is direction. So we have desire and we have direction. You got to have goals. You got to set goals. Your goals are your direction. You got to set short-term goals. You got to set long-term goals. You got to set them. Now, I just got a truck, and what I'm going to do on this truck is I specifically picked this truck because it has a lighter dash and has darker interior. What I'm going to do on this dashboard of mine, because I drive in my truck every day, is I'm going to write what I need to do in order to achieve my desires. So I'm going to write my goals on this dashboard so that it stays in the forefront of my mind. So I think about world champion. I'm going to write world champion. And what does it take to become a world champion? Okay, it takes perseverance. It takes resilience. It takes rising above adversity. It takes desire. It takes direction. I'm going to set those goals out there. It takes humility, what we talked about. So we gotta take those goals and we gotta write them down. Okay. I'm sure some of you guys have heard SMART goals. Okay, goals have to be specific. They have to be measurable. They have to be attainable. Okay, they have to be reachable, and they have to be time oriented. Okay, and those are SMART goals that you have to set for yourself. Now, third D is diligence. Okay, diligence, it can be summed up in 2 words, which is hard work. You got to work hard. Have to work hard, because it's just not going to happen just out of the blue. You think about it, there's dreamers and there's doers. Okay? You got to be a dreamer and a doer. You can't be one or the other. You got to be both. Okay? Fourthly is discipline. Okay? We heard about living a disciplined life. Discipline is huge. Not only what you put in your mouth, eat, whatever you think about, whatever you do, but your life choices. Discipline in what you choose to do is very, very important. Okay? And then the 50 is dedication. Dedication is basically devotion. What are you devoted to? That is going to lead you to achieving your desire. The times that you don't want to go to practice, the times that you don't want to go to school, the times that you don't want to go to work, that's the best time to go, because it's going to teach you a lot about yourself. All right? So the 5 Ds, desire, direction, diligence, discipline, and dedication, are all the 5 Ds that actually, when I was going through life, actually I'm still going through life, when I'm going through life, these are the 5 Ds that help shape and mold me. And I got 4 kids and I got a wife that I'm trying to invest into them. And also when I speak, I talk about the 5 Ds as much as I can, because I hope that you can take these 5 Ds, take it with you, and apply it to your lives. Now, there's times where we're going to fail. Failure is a part of it. But you got to be diligent. You got to be dedicated. Okay? Failure is only a part of the process. Okay? Failure is going to get you one step closer to what you want to become. So those are the 5 Ds.
5 Ds.
Yeah.
5 Ds. Round of applause. 5 Ds. 5 Ds. Can you talk a moment about excuses? Because I know some student athlete leaders might, I don't know if there's anybody in here, might make excuses. You have every reason in the world to make excuses. Can you talk about excuses for a moment?
I think that's something that we all deal with is, we ask ourselves the wrong question. We always ask, or we tend to ask, why I can't. Why I can't do things, why I can't achieve this, when we should be asking why I can. We got to focus on our strengths, not our weaknesses. We got to focus on why we can do things, not why we can't. And, just a quick story. I remember I was a walk-on, went to Arizona State. There's a Sun Devil out there. Where's she at? Doing the push-ups earlier. I went to Arizona State. Sun Devil.
Walk-on. He was a walk-on to national champion.
Yeah, I was a walk-on. I wasn't highly recruited. Didn't get the D1 offers that I was expecting, and so I had to walk on. I had good grades, luckily. So you athletes out there who want to go to college, make sure you're getting the grades. That's most important. No school, doesn't matter how good you are, no school is going to recruit a dummy. They're not going to risk the scholarship money on you. So me, I'm sitting there. I'm two-time high school state champ, high school national champ, 3.5 GPA. I'm thinking full ride wrestling scholarship for sure. No offers, no phone calls, nothing. So I had to kind of swallow my pride a little bit. Walked on to Arizona State. They say when opportunity doesn't knock, you got to build your own door. So went to ASU, and I just remember it was my sophomore season there. I'm getting better. I'm starting to finally figure out the college level of wrestling, but out of nowhere I get sick. Find out I have mono. So I'm sitting out. I'm out of practice for like 21 days. All you athletes, you're out for a week. It takes you a while to get that timing back. So I'm out 21 days. Nationals is just around the corner. So all the body weight I put on, my muscle mass, it's gone. I don't have the conditioning I have anymore. But I remember sitting there in the locker room one day after practice, bad practice. I'm frustrated. So on my way home, I pick up the phone and call my mom. And Mom, she always did a great job of cheering me up. It was always Mom to pump me back up. I knew something was wrong by her voice. We're talking. And so I finally asked her, I said, Mom, are you all right? And she started to cry. I'm thinking, uh-oh, what is it? And she said, there was a note from your dad. And I've never met my real father. He was gone as soon as he found out my mom was pregnant with me. My stepdad, who raised me since I was 4 years old, was my dad, only dad I knew. She said, there's a note from your dad, and he said he's leaving. She said he's leaving the family. I don't know where he's at. And so my mom, all of a sudden, she's there alone. I got 3 little brothers and a little sister. None of them are in high school yet. So my mom, her job's at home taking care of the kids, And I remember sitting there on the phone with her. I said, Mom, I'm going to come back home and get a job. I said, I can't wrestle anyway. I'm going to go back home. And she said, no, you got to finish what you started. She said, you stay there. And so, I remember that. I'm sitting there, driving home. The next day at practice, I'm talking to Coach. And I remember he said something to me. He said, look, he said, whether you like it or not, there's always going to be something waiting for you around the corner that you don't want to face. He said, there's going to be a hard time. There's going to be a challenge. He said, how are you going to look at it? He said, either you're going to believe in yourself and say, I can do it, or I can't. He said, what do you want to do? You going to square up with that challenge or not? And I just remember thinking about that in one of my matches at Nationals. I'm about to wrestle a dude, and he's looking at me like he's about to tear me in half, But I remember thinking in my head, I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to react to this? Am I going to tell myself I can beat him or I can't? And I ended up beating him, so.
I hope you notice that one of the common threads that's woven within all of the champions is it's back to the internal dialogue, the strong mentality. I'm going to ask you both one more question before we close out the session. The same question that I asked David. There's no tomorrow. And you had something that you could give to these student athletes, leaders, and coaches. No tomorrow. What would you leave with them from your heart to help inspire them even more than what they already are, that they can take out of here with them from you first, Anthony, and then we'll give it to Mark? One thing.
I'd say for me, obviously we're all here, we're all athletes. You love your sport, but the thing I would say for you is just make sure you're getting the most out of the journey. Don't put so much emphasis on the winning, the losing, and trying to do that. This is preparing you for your life. You got to enjoy what you're experiencing right now, because I've never been the same. I got into my sport, got into wrestling. It's taught me so much. It's taught me that dedication, that hard work, and all those things. Just enjoy the journey. You know, enjoy the process because we're all going to get knocked down. You know, certain times we're going to face those failures. We might not reach our dreams, but that's just going to make you even stronger. You know, like you heard, you learn the most from your failures. That's when you have to force yourself to take a look at yourself and rebuild, get stronger. So just enjoy the journey that you're on. And you know it's hard. Just remember those challenges are going to build you stronger, and it's going to make you unstoppable in the end. So
He said, enjoy the journey. Everybody say, win the day. Win the day. Mark.
Actually, there's two things I want to leave with them.
Fantastic.
5Ds, and I talked about it already, the 5Ds, but then there's another one where it's RAD, which spells rad, right? Okay, I live down in Southern California now, and they say rad all the time. I'm like, man, what you talking about rad, you know? What's rad all about? But I came up with an acronym. Okay, the first one's resilience. Okay, R, resilience. And that's basically being able to bounce back from injury, from loss, from failure, from anything that happens in your life that's negative. You're able to bounce back because you're resilient. 2 is adversity. Everyone's going to go through adversity. Everyone is. So it's how well you bounce back from that adversity that's going to help you achieve your desire, right? What I talked about in my 5Ds. And then the last one is desire, actually. So now, RAD, resilience, adversity, desire. Okay? So you got to be able to take your adversity that you're going through, rise above it to achieve your desire. Now, just like what Anthony said, failures are going to happen. Failures is just a part of it. And, you know, just take those failures and let it fuel your flame and let it burn bright. Okay, because in order to make a flame burn higher, you got to keep putting things in it. Okay? You got to keep putting things in it. All right? Sometimes it takes a lot of time to start the fire. Okay? You got to keep starting the fire. Okay? And then you got to keep it burning. You got to keep putting little things, little kindling in there, put a log in there, you know, whatever it is, guys, keep that fire going. All right?
Before I introduce our next speaker, can we give these two champions right here a round of applause?